The water hunt. Desalination plants for fresh water supply. So, what is the water hunt? 71% of the planet's surface is water. Of that 71%, around 97.2% of it is ocean. That means that of all the water on Earth, only 2.5% of it is fresh. And of that 2.5%, we only have access to around 1%, which in other words means that roughly 1 in 3 people don't have access to clean drinking water. For New Zealand, the problem of water scarcity may sound close, but nothing like what Chile has experienced to the point of them starting to take water from the sea to supply basic human and industrial needs. The water hunt is the constant search for drinking water at the hands of desalination plants in the midst of a global water crisis. Water is a resource that is constantly used and abused, a resource that is running out and is being killed by human thirst. Water scarcity has given way to innovative technologies and projects to solve an ever-growing problem. This is how desalination plants were born in the 1800s. Desalination plants are now up and running in over 100 countries. Their main objective is simply to obtain water directly from the sea, remove the salt, and add minerals to make it ready for human consumption. There are 2 main types of desalination plant, thermal and membrane. Thermal desalination uses an artificial water cycle to make and collect vapour by heating up seawater. Membrane desalination uses reverse osmosis to remove salt and other particles from the water. This is the most used during the latest projects as this technology emits less waste back into the sea. This is a comparative table showing the type of energy, processes, and names behind the 2 desalination plant methodologies. The emissions produced by desalination plants, such as metals, anti-scaling additives, and halogenated compounds, amongst others, fit the assessment criteria of environmental effects and the hydrology and water quality in relation with polluter sources. Integrated coastal management is a coastal management process for the management of the coast using an integrated approach, regarding all aspects of the coastal zone, including geographical and political boundaries, in an attempt to achieve sustainability. The concept of integrated coastal management includes direct and indirect impacts from 3 aspects: the environment, economics, and social. While desalination plants have been proven to be good for the economy, we cannot concede the integrity of the coast. The environmental impacts must be taken more seriously and assessed in a comprehensive manner. The framework of the ICM is great, but a more suitable model could be created fulfilling the 14 grouped criteria within 3 different aspects. The term pollution, commonly used in colloquial language, refers to the addition of any substance, solid, liquid, or gas, or any form of energy, such as heat, sound, or radioactivity, to the environment at a rate faster than it can be dispersed, diluted, decomposed, recycled, or stored in harmless form. The type of pollution that comes out of desalination plants depends on which technique is used to desalinate the water. For plants located on the coast, water pollution is the main problem, whereas for inland plants, the disposal of rejected concentrated brine is the main factor of concern. Air pollution arises if the desalination plants use multi-flash system, which is a thermal type of desalination, as they burn large amounts of fuel to generate the necessary energy for desalinating water. The disposal of desalination effluents can be a problem for inland plants too. It can prevent them from absorbing water from soil, stop them from absorbing nutrients from the soil, and create changes in their cell structure. This brine produces changes in the marine ecosystem, causing plankton mortality, reduction of species such as fish and coral, as it changes the habitat and temperature of the waters where a unique and irrecoverable ecosystem develops. There are many countries around the world who have desalination plants and legislation to go along with them. Despite the growing installation of seawater desalination plants in Chile, there is no specific regulation applicable to this activity. There are currently 44 seawater desalination plants in different stages of implementation in Chile, of which 24 operate mainly in the north and the centre of the country. They produce 5,570 litres of water per second and are expected to reach a volume of 14,468 litres per second in the next 5 years. This water supplies various purposes such as human consumption and sanitation, industrial processes, mining, and agriculture. Right now, New Zealand has no regulation relating to seawater desalination per se, but they also don't have desalination plants on their coast. New Zealand has one main law that regulates all water use within the country, the Resource Management Act of 1991. This act sets out exactly what can be done with water in New Zealand, whether it's impounding, diverting, or taking, as well as water discharges and pollutants. While New Zealand is not in the same boat as Chile when it comes to water scarcity, it may soon one day be reality. That's why investing in safe sources of water such as seawater desalination and water recycling can enable quick and affordable solutions, but with an adverse environmental impact that they need to be aware of. The truth is that there are entities that do want to look for solutions to those that already exist, such as the EUROCAT Technology Centre in Spain, which coordinates the C4 Value project, whose aim is to convert a large part of that brine concentrate into valuable minerals, making them a sustainable ally of the planet. Along with EUROCAT, there are other entities who are involved in desalination. Veolia Water is one of the world's leaders in desalination. They have plants in over 108 countries and produce around 15% of total desalinated water globally. They are committed to helping countries find the best solution for their water shortages by continuing their creation and exploration into desalination. From a sustainability perspective, a technological advance has been observed in desalination plants and the resources they use, such as renewable energies, new components to desalinate water, and the recovery of pollutants for the implementation of new projects that will continue to supply millions of people with drinking water. Even though there are so many desalination plants with considerable improvements to mitigate brine pollution and also pollutants from their high energy consumption, the pollution and the complexity of its waste treatment is still the Achilles heel of this innovative technology, generating damage to the marine and terrestrial ecosystem and being highly detrimental to the flora and fauna of our Earth. Although one of the main goals of the UN Sustainable Development Goals for most countries in the world by 2030 is to combat water scarcity, desalination plants could be more sustainable if the technology focused on mitigating damage to the ecosystem, as there are other methods related to the reuse of grey water, which are undoubtedly part of the regenerative process for both the environment and society. In order to comply with the parameters promoted by the UN, such as maintaining special focus on oceans issues, New Zealand and Chile could work together as partner countries to support the priority goals in this area in order to obtain more effective results on the pollution of the Pacific Ocean that they both share. Considering that Chile and New Zealand share the Pacific Ocean, and after the differences and problems that afflict each country and according to their own regulations, it would be necessary to make international treaties that regulate and unify the legislative criteria to strictly control the number of desalination plants per country, as well as their technology, their location, and their operations, as well as waste management systems and environmental studies. It is important to highlight the personal, private, and NGO entities that carry out mitigation measures such as technological and scientific advances focused on improving desalination processes with low energy consumption and lower socio-environmental impacts. We need to understand that the sea, the ocean, and all their living beings are an ecosystem that provides resources to our entire planet, so it cannot be treated and seen as a hunting ground.